There's something magical about watching two generational voices collide under one roof. That magic multiplied tenfold last night in Cardiff, Wales. As the Principality Stadium filled with 74,000 eager fans, some draped in TDE merch, others in homemade GNX gear, the stage was set not just for another tour stop, but for a night that will be talked about in this city for years to come. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. The Grand National Tour has been rolling across Europe like a force of nature, leaving arenas and stadiums stunned in its wake. And yet, even with expectations sky high, the Cardiff stop felt different. From the moment the house lights dimmed and that thunderous bass started rattling the concrete foundation, something shifted. This wasn't just a concert, it was a cultural event. SZA took the stage first, emerging from a swirl of violet fog in a flowing silver gown that shimmered beneath the stage lights. She opened with SZA, the crowd immediately erupting in applause as her voice echoed through the night sky. The sound was clean, pristine, emotionally raw, and it only got better from there. After a brief pause and a swelling instrumental, she transitioned into Love Galore. Fans screamed back every word. It didn't matter if they were in the front row or up in the rafters. Every person was locked in, swaying, shouting, sometimes crying. But when the haunting opening notes of Kill Bill hit, the crowd response grew seismic. The beat dropped and so did inhibitions. People danced like no one was watching, yelled like it was their final breath. The entirety of Principality Stadium transformed into a massive choir of heartbreak and revenge fantasies. It was SZA in her purest form, vulnerable, intense, ethereal. By the time she got to Snooze and Shirt, her band was in full swing, shifting effortlessly between soft grooves and bold punches of percussion. She spoke to the crowd in between songs, her voice calm and warm. Wales, y'all are incredible. This feels like home. I love you so much, we're like family. By Cardiff, she shouted after her final number. But the look in her eyes said she didn't want to leave. Then came the shift. The lights went black, and a distorted clip of The Heart Part 5 played overhead. Shadows moved in the background. Then, silence. And then it began. A thunderous voice screamed, "Oh, Kendrick Lamar!" The crowd took over, chanting it again and again. The man himself emerged from a platform in the center of the stage, dressed in all black, eyes locked forward, posture calm but coiled like a spring. No theatrics. Just presence. He wasted no time, launching straight into N95. The crowd exploded. Mosh pits opened. Fists pumped. Phones flew into the air. Kendrick stalked the stage like a general surveying his army. His words cut sharp, his delivery tighter than ever. Wales wasn't just watching, they were participating. Mad City followed quickly after, and it was chaos in the best way. The crowd screamed every line, not missing a syllable. If Pyrus and Crips all got along, hit, and thousands of people jumped in unison. It wasn't a show anymore. It was something closer to a shared awakening. All right, was the turning point. The crowd's energy surged into something spiritual. They weren't just singing, they were affirming. People held their friends, shouted at the sky, and tears welled in more than a few eyes. "We gon' be all right," echoed off the stadium walls like a promise. In a world that's anything but predictable, that simple refrain felt like a lifeline. Kendrick paused afterward, breathing deeply. Then he looked out and simply said, "Wales, I appreciate the love." And they answered. That chant started again, louder, longer. "Oh, Kendrick Lamar." He grinned, nodded, and kept the night rolling. He dug deep into the catalog, DNA, Element, Money Trees, and the menacing The Blacker the Berry. Each one landed with full force. But it wasn't just the hits that made the night. It was the pacing, the way Kendrick carried the audience through valleys of introspection and peaks of catharsis. He performed Feel, with almost whispered delivery, walking slowly down the catwalk, the audience holding their breath. Then he shifted to Backseat Freestyle, and the entire energy flipped on its head. And yet, nothing compared to the moment he brought SZA back out for the finale. The screen behind them flickered into life, showing black and white footage of Los Angeles streets. The words, "Revolution is not televised, it's performed," appeared in bold type. And then the beat for "Luther" dropped. The crowd roared. It was a moment. Kendrick and SZA stood side by side, trading verses, gazes sharp, movements precise. They moved like they were in battle and in love at the same time. SZA's vocals soared. Kendrick's delivery was ice cold. It was thunder meeting lightning. "Make some noise for yourself, Cardiff," Kendrick shouted as the song ended. The crowd answered with a wall of sound. People were climbing onto shoulders, waving flags, screaming themselves hoarse. And just when it felt like the energy couldn't possibly be topped, they launched into "Not Like Us." The beat hit like a freight train. Kendrick's eyes narrowed. The crowd was rabid. The track, already a cultural nuclear bomb back in the States, set fire to the Welsh night. Every bar was a dagger, every crowd response a shout of allegiance. It was no longer a diss track, it was a war anthem, and Cardiff stood proudly on Kendrick's side. After that explosive finale, the lights dimmed again. The crowd wasn't ready to leave, not even close. But then the screens displayed one final message: "We are not your idols. We are your mirror." Kendrick and SZA jumped into a black SUV parked mid-stage, the vehicle slowly pulling away through a smoky tunnel. They didn't wave. They didn't smile. They just left. Poetic. Mysterious. Perfect. People lingered in the stands long after the lights came up. Some took selfies with the empty stage. Others just stood still, not ready to return to normal life. One fan yelled, "That wasn't a show, that was a sermon." Another simply repeated, "Wow," over and over again. Earlier in the week, a Cardiff journalist asked, "Are we sure this tour lives up to the hype?" The answer now seems laughably obvious. Kendrick Lamar and SZA didn't just meet expectations, they obliterated them. The Principality Stadium has hosted rugby games, world tours, even political rallies. But this night, this one, was different. It wasn't about spectacle. It was about connection. About truth told through rhythm and poetry. And no one tells that truth better than Kendrick Lamar and SZA. As fans spilled out into the Cardiff night, still chanting lyrics, still buzzing from the afterglow, it became clear. The Grand National Tour had just delivered one of its most unforgettable chapters. Not just a memory, but a marker in time. The kind you tell your kids about. And somewhere, probably already speeding down the M4 toward London or the next European stop, Kendrick and SZA were silent in the back of a black SUV. Another city conquered. Another night etched in history. Cardiff didn't just host a concert, it hosted a moment. And moments like that don't come often. Not in this life. Not on this level. Not like them. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.